Welcome to the second part in this series where we look at cheap meta players on FIFA 21. In yesterday's episode, we had a look at some of the best cheap value defenders in the game, and we're doing it for every single major league. So if you missed that video, make sure you go check it out. I've been streaming on Twitch every single day since FIFA 21 came out, and I will keep doing that, so make sure you check my stream out. When this video goes live, I'll be streaming Zelonius 92, link in the description below. But yeah, if you missed that video, check it out. Lots of people have been asking me, who are some of the best value players in the game? I've only got 100k. Who should I invest in? This series is for you guys. I've been doing lots of research for all the 5 major leagues, looking at every position, at the best value players, and I'm bringing them to you now. Yesterday, defenders. Today, midfielders. Tomorrow, the attackers. And then some of the other videos I've got lined up for you in the next week. FIFA 21 controller settings, there's quite a few new options in there this year. So I'm going to walk you through my controller settings and what I think works best and will be good for you guys on FIFA 21. I'll also explain them. I'm going to do a video explaining exactly how chemistry works, some of the tips you can use to get the best out of chemistry and make the most of your team. We might do a tactics video next week after I've had a bit of chance to play more of the game. I don't want to give you tactics videos or gameplay tutorials until I really trust in them. One thing I've messed around with and practiced with a bit is free kicks. They've been pretty similar to last year, and I'm able to score them pretty much every time. So I think I'm going to do a tutorial on that, show you exactly how to score free kicks like 80-90% of the time. Lots of great videos coming your guys' way in the next week. If you like the sound of them, please subscribe to the channel. Turn your notification bells on at 6 PM every day UK time. There'll be a video going live for you, helping you guys improve at the channel. I appreciate the support a lot. Thank you. Let's get into this video. So we're starting with the French League. The French League has some very, very good players in it. It's probably the weakest league out of the 5 major leagues. If you take away Mbappe and Neymar, who are probably 2 of the best players in the game, not even just including icons, but like if you take, not even just goal players, if you include icons, they're still amazing. I've used them both in my team and they seem absolutely insane. But the French League, whilst taking those 2 away very expensive, isn't the best, it's one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest major league. If we go through some of these players, Aouar from Lyon, the weak foot is a bit of a letdown, but he's very good on the ball for a midfielder. He's basically like a worse Frenkie de Jong, if you can imagine that. Bit smaller as well, but he plays a bit like Frenkie de Jong. He can finish alright, he's got the same skills. Weak foot, Rafinha, weak foot again, a bit of a letdown, but he's going to be very cheap for you. He's rapid, and trust me, pace absolutely kills on this game, so you definitely want some pace out wide. We've put right mid and left mids into this video because they come under the midfield bracket, and wingers will be in the attackers tomorrow. Gelson Martin's, he looks insane, man. The weak foot, again, slight issue, but 5-star skill moves. 94 pace makes him one of the fastest players in the game. 94 agility, 92 balance, 87 dribbling. This guy looks like an absolute animal. Like, if you're looking for impact subs, he could be a really good one in that position, to be honest. Golovin from Monaco, cool player just for the haircut. Very solid all-round card. The physical's not quite the best. I think you could get away with this guy at CDM. His defending at 67 is slightly better than that. It's just the heading accuracy that brings it down. 4-star, pretty tall. 80 pace is really quick at this point. And there's not really anything he's that bad at. So I definitely think he's a bit of a sleeper OP player at the start. Ikone, his future star last year was a really fun card to use. I think he'll be a really good player in game. 89 pace, okay shooting. I say okay shooting for how cheap he'll be. Decent passing, very good on the ball. Again, the weak foot's a bit of a letdown, but I think he'll be a really good player in the game. Paredes, bit slow, but other than that, he's just a very well-rounded player. He's not going to be able to finish very well, but you can hit a long shot potential with him. He's got the passing. He's decent on the ball for someone with that good defending and physicals. And obviously, if you've not got many coins left and you've got Neymar and Mbappe, he's just an easy, cheap link from PSG. Sanson, every year this guy is just an absolute beast. Always 70 plus across his base stats. He's getting a bit slower apparently on the game, so that's a bit of a shame, but just a very well-rounded card, and he's always super cheap. Ronaldo Sanchez, similar to Sanderson, very good across the board. 4-star again. Very, very good, well-rounded card. He just seems to play well in midfield, and his high work rates are really good. If Ronaldo Sanchez ever seems to meet the potential that he's got in real life and becomes one of the world's best midfielders, then he'd be insane on foot. I know we still have more left. Moses Simon, he don't have the 5-star weak foot. That's a bit of a letdown. But he's still got great dribbling stats. He's rapid again. Anything over 90 pace at this point of the game is insanely quick. Very well-rounded card. Cyprian, you've probably noticed there's a lot of good cheap midfielders in this league in terms of the defensive-minded ones. So if you played 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2, you could easily fit some of these in. And then Kamavinga, he looks very good as well, to be honest. For how cheap he'd be like less than £1,000. 6 foot, well-rounded. For CDMs, you generally want players who have 70 base stats across most of the card, and French League offers a lot of that. We're in the Bundesliga now. This guy is going to come in at a very cheap cost. Quick, very solid physically. That aggression's really nice. Stick at CDM. A lot of the cheaper players only have 3-star. His passing and shooting is not the best, but if you're just looking for a starter player to fit you in, Core is going to do it for you. Dahoud, he's really had a downgrade the last few years, but 4-star. Not the quickest, not the best shooting, but like I say, all these players are going to have some good stats. Very good on the ball, decent passer, good defending stats for such a low rated card. Tolisso, I packed this guy and couldn't believe how cheap he was. He's like 6,000 coins. That is an absolute bargain, honestly. Trust me on that one. A bit slower than he was in previous FIFAs, I think. The 3-star, I feel like he used to have 4-star weak foot. But again, his worst based stat on his card is 72 pace. Then it goes 76 defending. Very well rounded. And as a cheap option early on, he allows you to link to a lot of Bayern Munich players. Diaby, I think he has 2-star weak foot, does he? Yeah. Awful weak foot, which is a bit of an issue, I'm not going to lie. But then you look how fast he is. He's one of the best early dribblers in the game. 90 chilling, 92 bounce, 87 dribbling. He's going to be an absolute terror on the wing. And early on, when you're struggling to get a really good team, you still want pace. Pace is something that even if the player's nowhere near elite, is going to kill teams. If people can't defend properly and you have pace, you're going to be able to make chances. So make sure you get a few of these players in your team. Delaney, again, just very well rounded. Slight upgrade on Dahoud, some of these players. Bit quicker, just a bit more solid across the board. And early on, those defending physical stats are really, really good on the game. Emre Can, him and Delaney would be a really good cheap partnership at the start. Chan's just an amazing all-round card. He's got the 4-star weak foot, nice work rates, physical monster at 87 physical, solid defending, well, really good defending. He's very good on the ball, I think, for someone who's that good physically. He can finish, he's fairly quick, like, insane card. And then this guy, absolutely rapid. So if you want someone really quick in the CDM to help cover more ground, this guy's good. Very good aggression, good defending stats, decent on the ball. Sabitsa, he's more of like a box-to-box midfielder, but I still think he could get away with him at CDM. He's got the good weak foot, very good shot. Sabitsa might be someone you want to pair with a more defensive-minded player. But I think Sabitsa looks pretty solid. He's got an 85 card that you can get at the end of the season objectives. This guy might be the most OP, cheap, meta, value midfielder that we've got in this video. He looks insane. Zakaria, the 3-star an issue, I'm not going to lie. But 6'3", he's not that bad on the ball for someone who's 6'3", honestly. He is insanely fast. His physicals are probably better than 85 because you have to take away 65 jumping being near irrelevant. He can pass. He's one of the quickest, cheap, like meta midfielders in the game. His defending stats are good. Like, I think if you pair any of Delaney all the way to Zakaria in midfield, one of these, two of these 5, you've got an absolute beast pairing for like barely any coins. Like, these guys will last you the first month or 2 of the game. I think that'll get you going. The Bundesliga has some really good midfielders, honestly. Okay, we're here now in Serie A. Serie A has been a bit of a disappointing league, to be honest. they've still got decent players across the board, but like it feels like it's definitely behind Bundesliga, La Liga, and the Premier League now. They normally get some really good cards as the year goes on, but it's a bit disappointing at the moment. We start with Tonali, 4-star weak foot, good work rates, one of the quicker midfielders, decent on the ball, can pass. He's not going to be elite at the start. His future stars was like Patrick Vieira last year, it felt, but like he's a good card. He's not going to cost you much at all. Very good to get you going. Kessie, him and Tonali literally will cost you probably less than $5,000 at the beginning. They'll be really cheap value players for you at the start of the game, which will do you a good job. Mkhitaryan, we've got him and Perisic. Where's Perisic? Yeah. So him and Perisic early on, they're opposite wings, so they're easy to fit in for Kev. They're not quick, but they're both 4-star, 5-star. That is invaluable at the moment. If you're not able to get pace into the team, then getting 5-star weak foot's another really important thing. The 5-star weak foot is so important to make you unpredictable. Mkhitaryan has that, and he's pretty decent across the board. Zielinski, 4-star, 5-star. He's always a bit of a cheap beast early on, and a lot of people don't really go near him, and I don't really get why. He's not the best physically, but his defending's okay. He's good on the ball. He can pass. Shooting's not too bad when you're taking the 5-star weak foot, and he's quick. Like he's a good meta player early on, and I think he's a player that could suit any meta, to be honest. Rabiot, I don't think he's as good as he was on previous FIFA. Now he's had a bit of a downgrade, but he's 6'4". Those dribbling stats are really good for someone who's 6'4", and he's just very solid across the board. Cheap, easy player to link Juve players together, and early on he'll be a bit of a rock in the midfield. Perisic, just an upgrade on Mkhitaryan, to be honest, in terms of same type of player, just a bit better, and he always plays quite well, I feel, on FIFA. And then I think the last two, sending in the boys, Vidal and Nainggolan. They're getting a bit slower, they're getting a bit older, but they're still tasty cards. Like Vidal last year had one of the highest total in-game stats on FIFA, and he's still up there. Like he's very good across the board. Same with Nainggolan. If you're looking for a cheap meta pairing early on, these two will really do a good job. They're just a bit slow, and you have to bear in mind with that. But they'll get stuck in. They'll put in the graph for you boys, and they're going to be very solid early on. Okay, we are here in La Liga. Condogbia, I think it was on FIFA 19. This guy was unreal. And he's still pretty decent. It's just, the thing that let him down was, he gave up his French nationality. Like, why'd you do that, Jeffrey? Yeah, it is Jeffrey Condogbia. The weak foot's not good. But this man can scoop turn. He can shoot okay for someone who's going to be very cheap. His passing's not bad. For someone who's as big as him, his dribbling's okay. And he's just got very solid defending and insane physical. He might be one of the... Well, no, it's not might be. He is one of the strongest players in the game at 94 strength. Beast early on. Coquelin, it pains me to put this guy in, considering how bad he seemed to be at Arsenal. But he sorted himself out in La Liga. Very solid card. Like, it's going to start sounding like a bit of a broken record now. But there's so many cheap defensive-minded like midfielders who just have these good physical, solid defending, decent across the board. Pick them up. Herrera, I think this guy's high, yeah, good weak foot. Very solid card, great defending, got stamina to run all day. Gonçalo Guedes, he's 4-star, 4-star, and he's like 2,000 coins. In a league that lacks a lot of good attackers, like, he's insane value. He's quick, his finishing's okay, he's not that bad at passing for someone who's so cheap, his dribbling's okay, he's got pretty good physicals, like, those are good physicals for someone quick. I don't know why he's this cheap. And he's got a pretty good nationality too. Marcus Florente and Valverde. These guys aren't that cheap at the moment. But then look at the stats. 84 and 86 pace. 89 sprint speed's unreal at midfield. They're both 3-star, 3-star and high 6 foot. The 3-star, 3-star's a bit of a letdown. But they're both very, very similar cards, to be honest. Their physicals are very similar, their defenders very similar. The basic difference for me is that Valverde is a little bit quicker, and Llorente's a little bit better on some areas, but then Valverde's got a bit better passing. Like, they're just almost identical cards, to be honest. Llorente will be cheaper because of him being Atletico rather than Real and being a level lower. But early on, these guys are going to be... Valverde might be a bit more expensive than you expect because of the links he gives you to Mendy, Varane. But these are players that will last you a couple of months just because of how good they are across the board. Whoops, clicked off. You get to see the rest. Fekir, he's finally got a weak foot. He's developed that in La Liga, apparently. This guy's always really good value. Like, he's decent pace. He can shoot. His passing's always good. He's always insane on the ball. His agility's taken a bit of a knock this year. But then when you look 91 balance, 88 dribbling, 87 ball control, and combine that with good physical stats, this guy's always a cheap beast. And the fact he's got French helps. And now he's 4-star makes him a lot more usable. Saul, very cheap. He's like $6,000. I think even if you buy him and don't like him, he will fit into an SBC and go up in value at some point. The 4-star weak foot's nice. He can finish better than a lot of the midfielders that you're going to be getting otherwise. And he's just, again, well-rounded. He's not amazing at anything, but a lot of these players, it's not about being amazing. It's just being solid across the board. Thomas Partey, he's really cheap. And I think him and Llorente is probably the best value pairing in this league. Valverde will be better simply because of the pace. But if you're saving coins, Partey will be really good to stick in there. Just very solid card. Pretty good passing for someone who's this good defensively. Very solid physicals with the defending. La Liga midfielders. I'd thought they were really bad at first, but when I took a bit more of an in-depth look at them, there was some that started to peak out. Okay, we're here in the Premier League. The most popular one, again, like I said in the video yesterday with the defenders, you are not going to get the best value from this league, unfortunately, simply because it is the most popular. But it is a good league to build from because you're going to end up at the best players, and the Premier seems to get the most love when it comes to SBCs and content. Kabamin, out-and-out defender, not bad passing, but not that good. Like 70 vision's a bit low. You can't finish, so you're only getting a defensive player out of him, but he's an absolute bargain early on. Gwen Doozy, like a lot of the other players, solid across the board. He's had a bit of a downgrade, I feel, compared to last year. I might be wrong there, but early on he'll be solid, but he's not special at anything. Trossard, the 4-star combo early on is really nice. I feel like his sprint speed obviously is quite low, but the acceleration kind of makes up for that. The shooting with 4-star is a pretty good combo. That agility is what really makes him stand out, and he's just going to be very cheap early on. Moussa Sarko, he is not that cheap, but his combination of really high sprint speed, better passing than people would expect from Sissoko, okay defending, and elite physical stats make him an absolute monster. He's easy to fit into teams because of his French nationality. He can give a strong link to someone like Son. And early on, because his level's only a 79, even though he's got some insane stats that trump a lot of the top players in the game, he's only going to be about 30 grand, and he'll be an absolute beast in the midfield. And Ndombele, him and Sissoko are a very nice partnership early on. And Ndombele, I feel like it's a bit slow this year, but then he gives you what Sissoko doesn't in that bit higher creativity, a bit better on the ball, well, a lot better on the ball, much better vision. Those dribbling stats for a decent defensive physical midfielder are really good early on, and Ndombele is not expensive. Fred, very good card early on, pretty quick, 79, solid at passing, better finishing than I expected from Fred, very good on the ball, okay defending, and that aggression and stamina are pretty nice. Torreira, similar to Fred, bit worse at shooting, but similar, he can pass okay, decent dribbler, very good aggression, decent defending stats. Lo Celso, if you don't like the look of Ndombele, want a bit more of a well-rounded card who can shoot as well, Lo Celso's pretty good. The 4-star skill moves is nice. 3-star weak foot. If he had 4-star weak foot, I think this pushes this card into really good value. Pepe, now with him, the 2-star weak foot does kill him a bit, but he feels stronger than he looks because of his 6-foot build. He's rapid early on, which is good. He can dribble really nicely. And I don't think you're going to lose much coins with him because I just think he's going to be popular for a while because he's an option before you get to the more expensive Prem players. Van de Beek, I was disappointed by his card. I thought he was going to be better than this. More so his pace and physical. However, it is still a decent card. The 3-star again is a bit of a letdown. But I think early on he's got enough across the card that he's going to be solid. And one of the reasons I'm putting him on here is because I think he'll get a one to watch. I can't promise you that, but I think he will. I might even seen that he's getting one, I don't know. He's Man U's big signing, so I'm pretty certain he will. He's going to keep his coin value for a good couple of weeks because he's going to be out of packs his gold card. So if you don't like him, you're not going to lose any coins. And then the last player in this video, Wilfred Ndidi. When I looked yesterday, he was really cheap. He's got the weak foot, he's decent height, that pace isn't bad, his passing isn't great, and his finishing isn't great, I'll give you that. But when you look at that defending and physical stats, he is an elite out-and-out defensive player at start. If you compare him with someone creative, then you're getting one of the best defending rate, like, for the cost anyway, you're not going to get much better at defending than this Wilfred Ndidi card. And being Premier League, I think he's really good value. I feel like he could have got some better stats in some other areas, but I think it's a really decent card for how cheap it is. And having that out-and-out defensive-minded player early on will help your team a lot. Boys, hope you've liked this video. If you've stuck around to the end, I really do appreciate that. I know the videos are long, but I'm trying to give you boys the most detail for those who really want it. Appreciate the support. Make sure you check out my Twitch streams. If you're not already subscribed, please do that. Have a good day. Keep it spicy.